I wanted to welcome everybody to the Bing Lounge. Our studios, Kink Studios, are up on the 6th floor, for those of you who don't know, and I wanted to introduce myself as well. I'm Vanessa, and I'm a real big fan of all the stuff that we're going to be talking about and hearing about tonight. I wanted to introduce you to Dr. Bader and Dr. Batchelor. Dr. Amy Bader is a doctor of naturopathic medicine. She completed her residency in family practice in Portland after graduating from National College of Natural Medicine, and that was in 2000. And as an NCNM adjunct clinical faculty member, she supervises naturopathic medical students at the NCNM clinic. And I was just learning about this. This is really quite a lifestyle, a lot of traveling. You see patients in your private practice here in Portland, but also you fly down once a month to Lodi, where you spend 4 days seeing
I take my medicine back to my people. It's my hometown.
Yeah, and that's just an amazing story. So in addition to her medical education as a primary care physician, Dr. Bader has extensive training in clinical nutrition, weight loss, botanical medicine, geriatric medicine, endocrinology, immunology, counseling, and physical medicine. Quite a list, quite a list. And Dr. Roger Batchelor, not too shabby either. Not going to leave you in the dust. A doctor of acupuncture and oriental medicine, a licensed acupuncturist, and an associate professor in the School of Classical Chinese Medicine at the National College of Natural Medicine. So in addition to teaching, he supervises student clinicians at NCNM Clinic, where he also has a private practice and is a member of NCNM's Vanguard Research Faculty. And that is something, what is that exactly, the Vanguard Research Faculty?
Well, we're making that up as we go along.
I've already, in the first few moments I've met you, I can see that you like to joke.
Just now and then.
A good sense of humor.
The healing power of humor. No, we get some grants to integrate research into our teaching, because there are so many ideas in medicine now, figuring out which one actually works on a collective level. Patients really want to know that.
So before you joined the NCNM faculty in 2009, you taught acupuncture and Qigong at Oregon College of Oriental Medicine.
OCOM. You're learning Chinese.
I am.
Very good.
There's a shortcut for everything. And traveled several times to China for additional study. And Dr. Batchelor completed his clinical doctorate at OCOM in 2005. So welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
So it's that time of year. I don't know if you're like our studio. Certainly, I was just telling them both that it seems like there's a mine. You have to, it's like loaded everywhere you go. Somebody's got a cold, and I'm losing my voice, but that's not a cold. So it's like a minefield of what seems like germs, and people are sneezing and falling to cold and flu, and the season is really just around the corner. So that's one of the reasons that we invited Drs. Bader and Batchelor to give us some tips. We want to pepper you with questions. I do, and then we'll let our audience as well. How to stay healthy with natural medicine. That's really what it's about. But before we get started, I think this is a good question to ask right now. Classical Chinese medicine. Give me a brief description.
Well, it's a 2,500-year-old system of acupuncture. And we find that going back to the source texts can give us some of our best ideas for treating some of our most difficult conditions, like severe mental health issues. I worked here in Portland in community mental health clinics for 10 years, and I got some of my best ideas from these older texts. Chinese medicine is based on nature. Nature has the seasons. So even though we're indoors and separated from the elements, we're still affected by them. And that's why we get more colds and flus certain times of year. So there are ideas on how to live more in harmony with the seasons, both in naturopathy and Chinese medicine. So I'm glad we can come here today and start talking about those.
And for you, Amy, it's the naturopathic route. Tell me a little bit about that. How is that
Naturopathic
work?
medicine is a system of medicine as well. It has very eclectic roots. Probably a lot of those roots are more European. But with that said, we really embrace lots of different modalities. And in our naturopathic medical training, which here, one of the best schools my opinion, the best school in the country is here, and it's a 4-year medical school program with residencies. So we're really kind of like primary care doctors who are trained to focus on treating the root causes of disease, preventing disease. We use herbs and nutrition and dietary changes, lifestyle homeopathy, physical medicine. So we're kind of the go-to doctors, I think, in terms of if you have a holistic mindset.
And that's really good to know. We'll kind of get into both those areas again as we go through our questions here. I think that this is on everybody's mind. Nobody wants to get sick, although sometimes I feel like I invite a cold. Psychologically, I kind of think, I'm kind of ready to, is that just crazy?
Sure, it's about the only time people take a break anymore.
Yeah.
Is getting a cold. When else do we curl up with a book or take a bath?
Really? And okay, I'm here to say I'm not inviting the cold. I'm definitely not. But the big question is how to avoid getting sick. What is it that we can do through those seasons that you mentioned? What can we be doing right now? So,
shall I go first with some lifestyle tips? Okay. So first of all, I personally think that your lifestyle, what you do 90% of the time, is what determines your health in general. And I also want to say that healthy bodies do get sick occasionally. So it is a bummer to get a cold or a flu, but it probably is ultimately good for us to do it maybe once a year. The foundation of your lifestyle, I believe, is going to be how you eat, also how you move. But how you eat is crucial this time of year in order to have a healthy immune system. So I would say the number one tip I recommend to most of my clients is to cut out the sugar. Cut out the sugar. Sugar suppresses the immune system. And so you want to probably bring down the intake of simple carbohydrates in general, but definitely the sugar. And there are some natural alternatives to sugar now that are not, by some to be considered toxic. Stevia, Truvia. So
those, you're saying that stevia and Truvia are toxic?
I personally like them. Yeah, I don't eat the other artificial sweeteners. But if you want something sweet, I'm just saying there are some options for you. And this is the time of year I know when we like to eat lots of treats. Halloween coming up, Thanksgiving, Christmas, but be mindful of those days that are not holidays, just to cut the sugar, okay? The other thing we want to cut out are food allergens. So many people react to gluten, many people react to dairy. Those things suppress our immune systems as well. And so if you know that that's going on, bring down the intake of those for sure. You want to increase fruits and vegetables, especially colorful vegetables this time of year. I always picture Swiss chard, the rainbow Swiss chard, with all those beautiful stems. You want as many colors in your diet as you can from plants, because those are the chemicals that stimulate our immune cells to work well, okay? You want to stay hydrated. I fly in an airplane a lot, as I mentioned, but just with heaters running and drier days where we're not raining, the humidity level actually really drops, and you need to drink more water. And when it's not hot out, you don't think about it as much. So be very mindful of that. Let's see, I made notes. I want to make sure. Oh, one thing that's really important. I want to encourage everyone to make antimicrobial herbs part of their diet. So thyme, oregano, rosemary, ginger, garlic. Those are the things we're kind of drawn to want to eat this time of year. I think there's a reason that we're drawn to wanting those herbs. They really do fend off viruses and bacteria. Okay, all right.
Could I just go back to the sugar thing real quickly? What do you think of agave? Because that's got it's kind of the trend out there to see the agave.
It's kind of the middle of the road.
But I keep on hearing the caveat about agave, so that it's still a sugar. Yeah.
But apparently not as much
lower glycemic index.
Yeah, a lower glycemic index. So it's probably the middleman. Sugar, agave, stevia, Truvia.
And the Japanese did tremendous research on stevia, which is zero glycemic index, zero sugar, and very safe for diabetics. 7-Up now makes a cola out of stevia, which you can get here and there. Yeah. So we're seeing it more and more.
I think we will.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste, so agave
because
might be a good
it does give you a little bit. There is a hit of something, a hint.
Yeah, but it's an all natural. It's a leaf on a plant, so it's very natural. Yeah.
I want to say also about diet is alcohol. Alcohol is suppressive to the immune system. I generally recommend maybe 1 drink a week during the flu season. So enjoy your wine tonight, everyone.
We're having sweet things and wine. This is the last huraw until the season goes away.